This gospel train is chugging a drink, chugging a drink, it's chugging a drink. This gospel train is chugging a drink, chugging to the glory land. Well, here we are. Yes, Chesley, it's Sunday afternoon Bible story time with Chesley and Karen. And you're the listenee, so let's get it going. All right, Chesley, we work together to make this work. And so let's just get into our story today. King Saul got the big head. King Saul got the big head. Oh, Chesley, I tell you what. He started out to where he was really what we call really humble and polite and kind. And God had a plan for him. He sure shocked him. God had a great big plan for him. He never had any idea it was coming. He was a big old tall guy, and he probably felt. I think he felt like he felt kind of he was just scared. Chesley, some people they're glad they're tall and they're willing they stand as tall as they can, and others they just kind of embarrassed and they just feel like they feel like they're nothing, when really they shouldn't feel that way, but they do. Well, this man, he just didn't think very highly of himself, and the Bible tells us he was head and shoulders taller than the others as far as the Israelites. But before this, here he was now, Chesley, here he was, and God called him out. He singled him out, and what are you going to do with him? He was going to make him the king, because, I thought that they had a prophet. I thought they had a priest. They did have a prophet, had a priest, and Samuel was the last one, and the people there in Israel, they got the idea that they didn't want to serve God. Well, what they said, well, we'll serve God, but we want to have a king like other people do. And that they had it there when they had a man of God. Yes, Chesley, they had a man of God for their leader, but they decided and you need to let God make the decisions. But Chesley, we are people of free will. And so the Lord knew it wasn't the best for them. He had good things for them. He was going to provide for them and bless them and help them. That they just got stubbornness. And you know what? They're going to get in a mess. Chesley, we always get in a mess when we try to do things our own way. Chesley, I was thinking about when parents or a teacher give an instruction, it's intended that you'll do everything that you're told to do. And I'll tell you something, I think that's the truth. And when God speaks, you sure enough better do it. That's right, Chesley, when the Lord speaks, for sure. But it's really good to follow our instructions that the Lord has for us in the Bible. And it's also the good. And it makes you happy and blessed. That's what the Lord has for us. That's what he wants. Doesn't mean that life doesn't have some problems sometimes. And I think it's because the old devil in us. Sometimes people, yes, Chesley, people get themselves in some bad situations. But Chesley, here we are. Let's go to this story now, how that when the people said they wanted a king, well, God chose this man for them. And I think it's good to let God do the choosing. That's right, let God do the choosing. So God had chosen this man, and he was so bashful. In fact, the Bible says about it, when he was small in his own sight, he didn't see the big tall. Well, he knew he was big and tall, but as far as the person, he just felt like, he didn't really believe in himself that he really had anything really big and important that he would do. And God was looking for the guy like him. God was looking for a man that was an humble man. He was humble, and he was willing to take instruction. And also the Lord said, this is the man that I have chosen. And so they crowned him king. And they were so happy, but they really hadn't done what God wanted. This wasn't God's best for them, but this is what they wanted. So he let them have their way. So Chesley, but time went along, and it just got to where that we don't know what happened in King Saul's life, that one time he was supposed to wait for Samuel, he was the priest, and he was there to be with him. He was there to help him and all give him advice, and all came from the Lord. And somewhere in there, did he change? Well, what happened? He was supposed to wait for Samuel to come, and this particular time he didn't wait. He decided he wouldn't wait, and he would just do what the priest did. No, he's not supposed to do that. That's a sin. It was a sin, but he did it. We don't know what happened, why he would do that, but somehow, Chesley, I know what he got the big head. Well, he got the big head, and what we mean by that is he didn't want to listen to God, and he thought he was the big head. He got the idea of I am king, and I make the rules around here. But Chesley, he forgot that God is over all, and God is the one who chose me. God had chosen him, and God could take him out, take him down where he would not be the king. Well, here came an instruction, but now here's what happened. Now here he goes, and he had an instruction. But the Amalekites, they were some wicked they'd been so wicked for years and years. And the king, so it was supposed to be that King Saul would go down there, and he would destroy all these wicked ones and all, and everything, everything, their animals, everything. And so that's a big job. And so, did he get it done? Well, as Samuel came and he heard. He said he didn't do the job, because he could hear the sheep, he could hear all the other animals that he had not obeyed. That's what happened. King Saul had not obeyed. Oh my! Well, here come the Lord had given. He gave Samuel a word for King Saul. I think it's not going to be good. God is very disappointed in him. And Samuel is heartbroken when the Lord gave the word. And here came, and you know what happened? King Saul came running up to him. He came running to Samuel, and he said, "I've done the will of the Lord. I did exactly what I was supposed to do." That's what he said. I did the will of the Lord. I mean, before Samuel could say anything, he said, I did what I was supposed to do. I did it. And that's when Samuel said, "What is this I hear?" What did he say? He was in a fix. He was in a fix, all right. He said, "Oh, well, it wasn't my idea, He said, I did what I was supposed to do, and all that. That's what I've done, and I did my part." Well, he said, the people, they're the ones that wanted that. They wanted to keep some of those things. Said, we're going to offer them as sacrifices to the Lord. The Lord was not pleased with that, because he had disobeyed. He had disobeyed. And our scripture we want to read, Chesley, right now, is what the Lord had told Samuel to tell. The Lord told Samuel to tell King Saul this. Oh, and when Samuel heard this, he thought, I know that Saul must not have done right. Sure enough, now here he is, and he finds out he didn't. And he said, "Listen to me, King Saul. I'm going to tell you what the Lord has said to me. Is it not true, though you were little in your own eyes, you were made the head of the tribe of Israel, and the Lord anointed you king over Israel?" That's when he was small in his own sight. He didn't have the big head. He didn't think he was everything. He didn't think he was the big guy. He didn't think he was all the boss man. He knew he wasn't the boss man. He just knew, he'd realized that he was small in his own sight as far as his physical size. Yeah, he was tall, but he thought of himself in the way that he should. He still, the things that he could learn, that he could do, and when it came to serving God, that the Lord would choose him at a time like this. I think he was really kind of scared. He was scared back then. In fact, he went and hid when he found out the Lord had chosen him. I mean, that's how he thought about himself, that I really can't do this job. Something I don't think he can, that God can do it through him. That's right. God was going to help him. And that's when, as long as he did what the Lord wanted to do, as long as he followed instructions that came from Samuel, God was helping him in every way. And now here he is, he's standing here, and he just did his own thing. He was so rebellious. And I'm telling you, I tell you what, I know what happened then. The Lord does not like that. And he said, why, this horrible sin that you have done, this rebellion that you have, here he said, this is awful thing that you have done. He said, you will no longer let you be the king of Israel. No. What's he going to do now? Did he start saying, "I'm so sorry"? Oh, yes, he might start trying to say he was sorry. But this rebellion and the stubbornness that he had in his heart, this is what, Samuel told him, this is what God has said. He hates it. This stubbornness, this rebellion you have. He said, it's worse than like witchcraft and all. He said, it's an awful thing. I cannot take this. You cannot be. Because the people are going to do it. If God doesn't step in and do something, and then the people will follow his example and rebel. That's an awful thing. A leader has a great responsibility. And so he got the big head. He got the big head, and it's what brought him down. Chesley, we can learn from this. The Lord loves to bless people, but it's that we have to realize that it's God doing it, and he's helping us. In any big job that we get done, it's because the Lord helps. That's it. Chesley, we can't, he's the one who gives us our brain. He's the one who gives us the strength, and he gives us the mind, the will, the determination, all of these things. He gives us his blessing and his help. And Chesley, he just He's everything to us. We just need him. Without him, I tell you what, you're just in this. And so when you start thinking you're somebody, you're nothing. Oh, Chesley, that's right. We need to realize that we need the Lord at all times. So he got the big head. Did his head swell up? Well, no, Chesley, his head in size didn't swell up. But we're talking about him. We'd say they get the big head, or they think they're really better than anybody else. And here, this man, what was so serious about this, he didn't think that he had to listen to God. No! And he's just ashamed. That is wicked. You know what? If he does that, his people will do that. That's exactly right, Chesley. And the Lord knew this. What a leader does, you know, the people will often follow him. They will do that. We didn't want them. The Lord didn't want them to think that they didn't have to honor God. But they were to bless the Lord. They were to honor the Lord all the days of their lives. Samuel said to Saul, I will not return with you, for you have rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord has rejected you from being king over Israel. Oh, what a sad thing. And so I tell you, Samuel wept, he cried about this, and one day the Lord said he had a plan. He said, I have another man lined up. We might talk about that next week, Jesse, but right now, it's time for you to go to bed. When I'm not even sleepy, when you're not even sleepy, tell everybody goodbye. I don't want to tell him it's very good, because it's not. It stinks. Oh, Chesley, it does not. Now, you got a nice trunk over there with a skunk. It's living in the skunk has not been living in your trunk. Yes, he was. He snuggled in there, and I don't like him, and he stinks. Chesley, there's no skunk in there. You're making all that up. Yeah, it's a good story. Well, it may be a good story, but you're stalling. It's time to go to bed. Tell everybody goodbye. And I'll tell 11 and just obey the Lord. In this gospel train, he's chugging up the train. Just Chesley, we're chugging up the track to the glory land, and right now you're going to bed because you're still trying to stall. All right, good day. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Can I sing another song? No, Chesley, no other song. We'll see you all next time. We love you. See you next Sunday afternoon, the Lord willing. Goodbye, and you have a great rest of the day.